And that was the end of the section, like the electricity section. Those are the components, those are the concepts that we already discussed in the chapter of electricity. And now we are going to talk about their practical application, their dangers, their hazards, and some components like fuse, like main supply, 3-pin
Mm.
plug. So these are important components that is related to your practical electricity, right?
Okay.
So starting first, we start with the concept of electrical hazards. Because the other components in this chapter related to fuse, strip and plug, and all the wiring setup is related to the safety precautions, right? So first we need to
Yeah.
talk about the electrical hazards. What are the dangers of electricity? Because this is only theoretical concept and it is not like the simple one, because it is more going to be asked in the exams. Most of the time they will ask like for 2 or 3 marks to write the key points or what will be the danger in this experiment, like that. So this is also important, right?
Okay.
So, first of all, we need to know about some important key terms that are very much important. If you remember those key terms, so you can easily define those key terms, right? So, the first one,
Um,
the very common hazard includes damaged insulations, right? So, the first
yes,
one
sir.
is damaged insulations.
These are things like which cause harm to you.
Yes, electrical hazards
Uh,
means electrical dangers, those steps or those things that will harm you,
okay.
the reference of electricity. So the very first common thing is damage insulation. Let's suppose if we are using extension wire or any electrical appliances, and the wire of that device is like not properly covered, and it is damaged, or it is just cut, or the cover of that wire or the insulation of the wire is cut over it. So that is the danger one, because you know that in wires that was double insulated, right? First they are
Yes.
individually insulated like different color, red, blue, green, and then there is a whole cover like black wires, white wire. So there is double insulation on the wires, right? So the most
Yes.
common danger in our daily life is damaged insulations. So if we are using damaged insulation, so that is the most dangerous one, because normally we are using electrical appliances in our daily life everywhere, just like the refrigerator, TV, LED, anything, the iron. So these are the normal daily life uses appliances, and all contains this wires, and it also contains damaged insulations. So we can say that if someone touches an exposed piece of wire, they could be subject to a lethal shock.
What?
They could be, it means they are going to be subject to electrical shock, right? In simple words.
Oh, okay.
I'm also writing a small description with it, because that will also help you to write answer in your question. Because we know the concept, but sometimes we just confuse how to write the answer. So that's why we also write some small description with each electrical hazard.
Okay.
So this is the first and the most common danger of electricity in our daily life. The next one is overheating of cables. Let's suppose most of the time we just connect our phone with the charger and left on the desk, and when the phone is 100% charged, still
Yeah.
it is connected with the charger, so it got heat up, right? Wire and charger will also got heat up, so that is also danger, right?
Yes.
that will spark, and it will also damage all the wirings, and that will also cause short circuit. So that is also very danger thing. So overheating of cables, or let's suppose if we are using extension cable extension wire, and we just plug some heavy appliance on the extension wire, so that will also cause the temperature of the wire to be high, because the wire of extension is not like the good one, just like the normal
Yeah.
plugs of our houses. So that's why we don't need to put heavy load on that extension wires. That's why we always connect a refrigerator or microwave oven with the main supply. We don't connect those wires with the extension wire. If we are connecting them with extension wire, so those extension wire would should be of excellent quality and excellent insulation wires, right? So then we
Yeah.
are able to use that one, because we know that if we increase the length, so your resistance automatically increase. So when resistance increase, your temperature increase, and that will be the same factor overheating of cables, right?
Yes.
So it happens due to when we pass too much current through to a small wires, can lead to the wire overheating. So this is the point related to overheating of cables, right? And this could
Okay.
also cause a fire. This will also cause a fire. So by name, it is not like the very danger one, overheating of cable, but you can see that because we studied about all the scenario behind the process, behind the electric current, behind the
Yeah.
charges. So we know the consequences, that why it is so much danger. But in normal life, we don't care about these things. We are just using all the appliances in our very informal way. So, but that is still danger. Third one is damped condition. Dam condition mean in rainy season, or let's suppose if
Yeah. Like what?
humidity is very much high, so wires and all things are slightly wet, and we don't need to touch any wire without wearing shoes or without wearing slippers or having a rubber sole. So that will be also cause electric shock through the human body. So if moisture comes in contact with the live wires or with the wire, into contact with wires through which current is passing, this moisture will conduct electricity, right?
Yeah.
And you know that this will result in a short circuit, also the electric shock, and that will also damage your
Yeah.
device, right?
Yes. Yes.
or again the same thing, short circuit. And the third one is related to excess current flowing through overloading of plugs or extension, right?
Yes.
Overloading of plugs or extension. So basically we used extension, but what we do, we use
Yes.
extension plus another plug in it. Then we also plug two plug into the same plug. So in the place of one, we are just using three different plugs, right? So that is also a very
Yes.
dangerous one because we are actually overloading that wire, and the capacity of wire is not much to take a high resistance. So that will also cause the same danger of electricity, right?
Yes.
So if the plugs
The also question come like how to prevent this?
Yes, there is also a because before starting the precautions, we need to know about the basic hazards, right? Because these are natural. We don't need to create these hazards, right? We need to keep a safe from these hazards, right? So for
Yes.
precautions, we are having a step-by-step components, that what component we use for what protection, and which device will help us to prevent from which danger. So those are individual separate topic in detail, right? But for electrical hazards,
Yeah.
there these are the journal one, because we know that they are like the natural or due to the lackness of the human being or using the appliances in our daily life. So we are not going to design these electrical hazards, so that's why these are only in journal form. So if the plugs or extension or sockets become overloaded due to plugging into many components,
Okay.
heat can create fire, right? So these are the application, oh sorry, these are the electrical hazards related to the electricity. These are the most common that we can easily identify because we studied about the electric current and resistance, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now the first thing that we need to know about that we use in our daily life for the safety from these electrical hazards is the three-pin plug, right? Because normally we observe in some devices there is only two-pin plug, but
Yeah.
in heavy appliances just like refrigerator, microwave oven, and all other heavy appliances in our daily life, so we use three-pin plug, right? So what is the difference and what is the safety measure in three-pin plug? So we need to talk about this, right?
Yes.
Okay, so for three-pin plug, you observe that there is also a specific pattern in your switchboard, right? One is in the vertical position, two are in the horizontal position, right? We will also
Yes.
draw that diagram. But first of all, let's talk about that three-pin plug situation, that how it actually works. So let's suppose if we consider three-pin plug, so on left-hand side, we are having a single pin, right? And the
Yes.
next pin is on the right hand side, okay? And
Yes.
in center you observe that there is a vertical pin
Yes. Yes.
like this. So this is the structure of three pin socket plus three pin plug also, right? Both are like
Yes.
male and
Yes.
female connection process. but we know that it will be like this in both are horizontal in the bottom and one is the vertical in the middle. So now we need to know about the wires that are actually connected with these pin and what are their purpose. So first of all, if we talk about the first one, so we need to connect one wire over here.
Okay.
Then we are going to connect the second wire over here. And for the third point, we are having an additional component over here. And what is the purpose of that additional component? That is also very important. Then we wire with this component rather than the third one. So now what is the difference? First of all, let's write the name of these components. So let's suppose the upper one is known as the earth wire.
Okay.
Because we are having three pin, it means three wires, right? So the first wire that is connected with the upper part is known as the earth wire. Okay. And the left one,
Okay.
it is known as neutral wire. I will also explain these terms.
Okay.
And then the third one that is not directly connected with the third pin, but it is actually connected with some other terminal. So that wire is known as the live wire.
So what is the down?
Yes. Now there is a empty pin over there. So we actually needs to connect an additional component in it. And that additional component is known as the fuse, right?
Yes.
Actually, this fuse completes your circuit with the third terminal, right? Because it
Why
is
can't this make why do they add live wire? Like what is the purpose?
so that is the question why we don't connect live wire directly with the third pin, why we are using fuse.
Yes.
So these are all questions that we need to discuss in this topic, right? So first of all,
Yes.
the main thing that we need to discuss, let's suppose we are having three wire passing from each terminal like this. One wire is coming from this one, okay? And then we are having a second wire that is coming from the left hand side. And then the third one that is coming from the earth wire. Okay. And then we
Okay.
are having insulation cap. Okay. So if you just open the three pin plug, so you observe that there are three different wires. Those are connected into like a single wire, and then they are passing into the main supply, right?
Yeah.
And this black part is known as the cable grip. And if you just complete your diagram, so your diagram will be like this. So now you can see that this is a complete structure of three pin plug, right? The internal parts are
Yes.
there. Now we
Yeah.
are having four new things. One is not written over here. That is this fuse. Okay. So first of all, let's talk about the wire. That what are the function of these wire, right? Then we will discuss about the fuse. So first of all, let's talk about the earth wire. So the purpose of the earth wire or why we connect the earth wire into the three pin plug. Actually, this is only for the earthing process, right? The earthing means if there are some additional charges in your socket, or like some charges
Okay.
left out during the process, so this wire will help you to just pass those charges, or just to ground those charges, right? If you observe
So,
the
what's the difference like 3 pin and like the 2 pin one?
in two pin we are having live wire and neutral wire, the positive and the negative, right? But
Yes.
there is no earth wire in 2 pin plug, but we are using earth wire in 3 pin plug because of safety purpose, right? Because when we just suddenly plug out the switch from the board, so there are some
Yeah.
charges left in the cable, right? And when
Yeah.
we plug in again without turning off the button, so there will be a short spark, right? So that is due to the extra charges that already left out in the socket, right? So do
Okay. I see.
yes, so those sparks when we just plug in any socket into, or any wire into any socket, so those sparks are due to some extra charges that are still on the surface. So earth wire will help you to ground those charges, right? To neutral your
Yes.
circuit. Okay.
Okay.
And basically we connect this earth wire with the metal part. If you observe like the electricity poles, in normal city we observe there are electricity poles, and there is also a bolt type connected with that pole, and we just take a wire from that bolt into the ground. So actually that also helps you to do the same ground process. So basically the working of earth wire is, the earth wire, it is only used for additional safety, right? In simple words.
Yes. So that's why it's not there in the normal one.
Yes. And for the live wire, we can say that actually the main current, or we can say that, that current starts to flow from positive to negative terminal, right?
Yes.
So the main current, or current starts to flow from the live wire. Okay.
Mm.
So that is the main thing, that current starts to flow from the live wire. And in circuit we are having a positive and a negative terminal. So if we don't connect the negative terminal with the circuit, so your circuit will be
Yeah.
incomplete, right? So due to that,
Yes.
current will not flow into the circuit. So for that purpose we need to connect the negative terminal also. So this neutral wire helps to complete your circuit, right?
Okay.
It helps to complete the circuit. Current from live wire will flow from towards the neutral one, right? Now you got the concept.
Yes.
The live wire is just like the positive terminal, neutral wire is the negative terminal, and current will always flow from positive to negative. Okay. And earth wire is just
Yes.
for the safety purpose, right? So we discuss about three important things, right? Let me show you one thing that will help you to understand the concept of earthing process.
What?
In our Pakistan, we observe this example very commonly. I don't know in other countries and what was the structure in there, because most of them are using the underground structure, so there will be no use of the pole. I will show you one example that how we use the earthing process in the poles. If you observe this one, right? So basically, sorry. So you can see that this is the metal pole, right? Metal or
Yeah.
iron pole that is connected into the ground, and you can see that wire is just coming from the pole and connected with this specific part or this specific conductor, right? And that conductor is actually grounded, right? So why it is grounded and what is the main purpose? So when this wire, actually this wire is known as the earth wire, because why we use the term earth wire, because it is actually connected with the earth. Okay. So let's suppose
Got
in
it.
rainy season or in wet season, like the wet condition, dam condition. So you know that in electricity poles there are also charges, right? Current is also flowing through those poles. So if someone walking in the rainy season or in dam condition, right? So if suddenly someone accidentally touch the pole, so charge will transfer
Yeah.
through the human body, right? Causing the electric shock, right?
Yes.
So that's why we connect these earth wire with the pole, and then we just connect this rod with the plate, and that plate actually be buried into the deep side in the into the ground or into the earth, just like this. You can see that wire is connected with another rod and that is buried into the ground, right? Not like the open one. So charges can easily be grounded. So that's why the third wire is known as earth wire, because that earth wire is actually connected with the metal body of the appliance, right? Just
Okay.
like in the gaming PC, most of the heavy gaming PC, if they have metallic casing, so sometimes we when we just turn on with the button, so we feel electric shock also, right?
Yes, sir. So
Because
this is to prevent the electric shock.
yes. So basically, the earth wire of that circuit is connected with the metal body of the PC, right? Because PC contains metal body, and metal can easily conduct electricity and conduct charges. So very few charges can pass through the metal body. So when we just start the PC, and let's suppose PC is placed on the table or the wooden table, so wood is
Mm.
insulator, so current will not pass through that wood. So that's why when we touch that button, so charge will through move through our body, so then we will feel the elect, right?
Yes.
Any confusion?
No.
Okay, so basically this third earth wire is only for the additional safety, right? Because we are already using the fuse, and what is the purpose of fuse? Now we also need to discuss that one. Okay, one more thing you need to observe, that how this fuse actually looks like. I hope you observe that in your daily life, somewhere in a stabilizer or in any appliance, this will be like a simple fuse. This is a very simple fuse, right?
Yes.
You can see that
Yeah.
there is a value of electric current mentioned on it. It means 5 ampere. This fuse can only bear the electric current of 5 ampere if the value of electric current increases. So the metal wire, a thin wire in the center of this fuse, will melt or blow out, right?
Yes.
So that will completely breaks your circuit. Like this is the blown diagram of the fuse, right? So now wire is disconnected, and if you observe your structure of 3-pin plug, so actually when this fuse is disconnected, so you can see that live wire is also disconnected from the circuit, right? So no electric current will flow into the appliance or into the circuit. Okay.
Yes. Oh,
So that is the safety component that we are using in 3-pin plug. Okay. So this is the main
okay.
important safety component. Then we are using the earth wire. Okay. If you just observe this fuse, so you will also find that into the plug of that refrigerator and in a microwave oven. Sometime it is covered with like the opening rubber or plastic thing, so fuse is inside it, so we just need to replace that fuse if something is not working. Like if we just plug in a wire and that wire is not passing the current, so first we need to check the fuse, that either fuse is blown or not. Because if fuse is not correctly connected, so there will be no current into the circuit. So first of all we need to check the fuse, right?
Yeah.
So basically it is a safety component. It contains a thin wire inside the glass. Okay, so this is the explanation or the description for the fuse, that how and what actually fuse looks like. And the next thing for the fuse is, if the voltage increases, let's suppose when there is a problem in electricity connections or in the wires, so sometime voltage decreases or sometime it will increases, right?
Yeah.
So the current through the fuse will also increase, results in the melting of wire.
So both earth wire and the fuse like protect from like short circuit.
On only that thin wire connected in inside the fuse, right? That thin wire. So we are only talking about this thin wire, right? Not earth wire. Okay,
Okay.
wire inside the fuse. So you can see that if voltage increase, current will also increase, and that will result in the melting of the wire inside the fuse. And in this way, our device will be saved, or appliance will be saved from the any damage or any additional electric current passing through that appliance, right?
I see.
Disconnects the circuit and no current will flow. Okay. So this is the concept of fuse and the safety 3-pin plug, right?